Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying tuned. Now, we were talking to Mr. Ali Akas about how to go into the world of software engineering and science, IT. However, I'm going to go on to Dr. Mohammed Zahid Rehan, and if you can just quickly brief our viewers, if they wanted to get into the world of neuroscience, what is it that they need to follow and what sort of path they need to take?
First one have to complete his medical science. This is worldwide. Basic medical science, he or she will have to complete this. Then if he wants to enter into the neuroscience, then he will readmitted in neurosurgery or neuromedicine course. This is a very long course, about 7-8 years after graduation.
Wow.
And thesis is neurosurgery is about 4 years. Now it is reduced worldwide to about 3 years, and other 3-4 years is general surgical skills.
Okay.
And 3 and 4 years is completely on neurosurgery, and neuromedicine almost same duration.
Yeah. I understand neuroscience is one of the hardest subject to get into, one of the hardest career to get into.
It's worldwide hardest subject. In UK and USA there is pre-medical course, you know. After pre-medical course, one student will be eligible for admitted in true medical science. But in neuroscience, neurosurgery, after completion the A level, a student can directly enter into the neurosurgical course, because his merit is studied just and neuroscience.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to come into this field, he must be fully confined in mindset.
This is what I want to do, and I have to do that.
Because no way to divert his ways after entering into this field.
Yeah, because with many other education, you can always change your mind and just divert a little bit. With neuroscience, there's no chance.
No way.
If that's what you want to do, you've got to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you're wasting time, isn't it? Because you're putting so much effort and everything in.
Because there is no byways or any other subjects you can enter again or bypass. No way.
It's a solo subject that you need to concentrate on. There's a lot to take in, that's why. Okay, thank you very much. And Dr. Khosrow Rahman, can you please tell me, to get into the field that you're in, you know, the engineering field, what route should one follow?
The engineering industry or the engineering field is a vast field, and you know, you have so many avenues, so many career choices in the aeronautical, automotive, marine. You know, the subject area is vast. So if for a youngster who's starting out, if you particularly want to do aerospace and you have decided and that's what you want to do, then obviously you would select aerospace engineering or aeronautical engineering, and then it's really a choice of which university you would like to study. Now this is a bit you really need to be careful here, because a lot of the big, because there aren't many aerospace companies in this country, and those that are usually you know, some of the best in the world. So they're very selective as to which student they take and from which university. So what you have to do is really look at, a lot of these companies have established links with universities. So you have to now look at which universities that these organizations have links with. And that is really your homework that you need to do. If you're not particularly sure which area that you want to go into, whether it's aerospace or automotive or marine or any other engineering field, then sometimes instead of specializing too early, it's better to do a general engineering subject like mechanical engineering, because I never started off saying I wanted to become an aerospace engineer. Is something that just, you know, that's how it turned out for me. But what I did have is a genuine interest for the subject. Okay. And as I grew into the subject, then there was particular areas that I found particularly interesting, and that is vibration and dynamics and mathematical modeling, because my PhD was in mathematical modeling. So I found after many years of studying, I found the areas that I particularly found interesting, that I enjoy, and that's how I ended up being in aerospace. So really, for the youngsters, you need to do a lot of homework, and it's not necessarily the case where you have to go to Oxford or Cambridge. That's not necessarily the case. What you find with companies like BAE Systems, they have very good links with, say, Loughborough University, because I know they fund a lot of research. Bristol University, and there are Southampton University, and there are all these universities that a lot of these companies have established links. That's what you really have to investigate. And also the other thing, if you're particularly interested in a subject area, and then you have to look at then you have to go beyond the brick wall of the university. You have to then go into the department, who's in the department, because you may want to study under some world-renowned professor who's an expert in a particular subject, and he happens to be, I don't know, at this university. So if you go to this university, you are more likely to study the subject of his area of
you're interested in,
expertise. So for example, one of my areas speciality is in is a subject called rotor dynamics, because it's a subject that I did my MSc in at Cranfield Institute of Technology. And there's not many universities that does rotor dynamics as a discipline, as a subject in its own right. Cranfield is the only university that does rotor dynamics. I'm talking about 20 odd years ago. There may be more now. So, but a world expert in rotor dynamics happened to be a professor at Staffordshire University. And at Staffordshire University, I think it was, at the time it used to be called Staffordshire Polytechnic. Okay. So here you have like an obscure university that no one really mentioned, and then you have a world expert in rotor dynamics tucked away in Staffordshire Polytechnic. So if that's the subject you wanted to study, then you want to be going to Staffordshire because you'll be studying under a world-leading expert. So there's a lot of, so it's really, if you know
some research. And
yeah, you need to do a lot of research, and it helps if you know exactly what you want to do. The difficulty now I find with a lot of the youngsters is that they don't really know what it is that they want to do, or they're unsure, or and that's a real difficulty. That's a real problem, because it's very easy to give advice to people. Someone says to you, "I want to be a neuroscientist," then it's easy because he knows what he wants to do. If you speak to an expert in neuroscience, he can tell you this is what you need to do. Yeah. But if someone says, "I'm not really sure what to do," then it really is. And most of these the youngsters that I find today tend to be in that category. They're not really sure what it is that they want to do.
Yeah. So viewers, we've got some very valuable information here. It is really, really important for us to actually look into what we want to do. First of all, obviously, we need to enjoy what we do, and most importantly is look for the correct university of that particular career that you want to follow, because otherwise what I understand is you're going to be going somewhere where they don't really specialize in that field. Maybe it's engineering, but it's not the necessary engineering that you want to follow in future. And I think that's with most subjects, but neuroscience, we've just realized that this is very specific and very interesting as well. Anyway, coming on to Dr. Mohammed Zahid Rehan, I just want to ask you quickly, you've come to UK on a project that you're working on.
Yes.
And if you want to tell us a bit more about it. I'm so proud to have you gentlemen on this show today as my guest, because you are highly educated people and people who have actually done so much and made our community proud. Could you please quickly tell us a bit more about the project that you come here for?
Thank you very much. I am very much fortunate to come here on a Society of Neurosurgery and National Health Service provider in England. They offered this scholarship for me to learn function neurosurgery in John Radcliffe Hospital. For this purpose, I came here for 2 months initially, but I have a exchange fellowship program about 2.5 years. So subsequently, I will have a visit, hopefully, in this country. Here, what I have seen, I have already observed about 10 cases regarding all these types of DBS. DBS is not only for Parkinson's disease, DBS is for addiction.
Okay.
Addiction. If a person is fully addicted in some addicted drugs or any other thing, say Facebook or marketing or excessive sexual drive, we can just put a electrode in frontal lobe, a nucleus named nucleus accumbens. We push,
Wow.
and he will improve about 70 to 80%.
And that is just with that DBS equipment
Yeah.
our brother Tipu Aziz has
Yeah.
invented. Now viewers, this is very important information actually we need to share. The system DBS, as Dr. Rahim was mentioning, is a product that has been created and invented by one of our very own Bangladeshi gentlemen. His name is Tipu Aziz and he's at Oxford University.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a lecturer at Oxford University.
Senior
This is
professor.
so much to be proud of.
Professor.
He's a professor there, so he's a professor at Oxford University who's created this machine which actually helps to, say for example, you have Parkinson's, as my brother said, you know, whether you have epilepsy or any sort of addiction, this particular product, this machine actually takes control of your brain where it's actually faulted.
And another thing is cancer pain.
Cancer.
A terminal cancer patient, severe suffering from intractable pain and no way, and there is no way for his life, there is no way for his life expectancy, there is no way to cure him.
Wow.
Just in that case, I want to subside his pain, and that is the only can be done by DBS. We can burn the pain sensitive area in the brain, and that patient will never sense the taste of pain.
Wow.
And he will have a peaceful and sound disposal from this earth.
Okay. Now I'm going to come back onto you again. I think we just need to go to a break again, once again, and we're going to start from.
Thank you.
Actually, we've got a minute. I'm going to come back to you about this DBS equipment. Now I'm coming back to Mr. Ali Akkas, talking about yourself.
Can I just get something, just pick up from what Dr. Rahman was saying, that regarding this choosing the subject. And one of the things is that I find that our youngsters lacking sometimes. It's, as he said, mentioned quite nicely, that they do not focus. And sometimes they go into a course which they feel, then halfway, maybe after 6 months, they realize this is not the course they're meant to be in. So my advice to them, do not give up. If you don't like it, fair enough, it's not the end of the world. Just move into something else. But you really need to be very clear what you want to do. You need to be focused. And as Dr. Rahman was saying, that look around in your own field. What do you want to be? Still, if you are not sure, just continue the degree, get the degree done, because the very basic requirement in this country to becoming an officer, to work in office, is a degree.
Yeah.
And with a good degree, then you can go into many different fields.
That's
The
right.
other thing that I've seen that people are not doing is, by the time you come to your end of your final year, start to look for a job in early as December, in January. Get your CV ready. Look around what is going on. Now they do so many different schemes. The graduate scheme, which is really brilliant.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look for somebody with a totally different field. So you may enter into scientific world field without even having a degree in science. But because the program they have in place, they will train you.
Yeah.
So do not give up. Just keep continue, study hard, because without the study, there is no way, there is no future.
It's very true. So the main point here is, from the offset, when you've done your college, you've got to really be focused on what you're going to actually
That's
do.
right, yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to go on to the break quickly now, and we're going to, after the break, we're going to talk a bit more about yourself,
Right.
how you achieved what you have achieved. Viewers, stay tuned, and we'll see you after the break.